Oh, look who I have over here. And it's so weird on Zoom. I have to point, I'm pointing to the wrong way.
It's kind of like doing the weather.
But it's backwards. I know. We have none other than Mayor Dan Fritz from Moreland Hills. Welcome to the little Zoom class we got going on here.
Well, thank you for that, Molly. And again, a kudos to you for all the work you've been doing with the Chamber during this difficult time. I know we've shared the list of restaurants with our residents, and you just always are looking out for your partners, and that's huge during this time. So we appreciate everything you're doing.
Well, thank you. We appreciate everything you guys do. As you know, that we serve 13 different communities, and you're new to your role. When you did you put your hand on a Bible? Did you do?
Yes.
Okay, so when you put your right hand on the Bible and raise your right hand, did you ever in a million years think that we'd be Zooming and talking about Corona-19?
No, I didn't. And in order to predict something like this, it's just, I work in emergency services, as you know, with the fire department, and, the messages will always be prepared for the worst. So in the back of your mind, you go through these hypotheticals of things that might happen while you're going to be mayor or a council member. And this one wasn't up there on the list of potentialities, but it's here, and we're dealing with it in an effective manner.
Speaking of that, how is Moreland Hills? Let's start with contacting and keeping connected with the residents. How are you guys doing that?
So one of the first things we did 4 weeks ago, when all this was kind of coming to light and gaining momentum, we came up with an action plan, and our action plan had a goal, and it was to keep the residents messaged properly, and to keep the critical services functioning with contingency plans. So messaging's been a huge part of this plan. Our plan was never to be the COVID experts or to offer advice to our residents about the virus that's spreading around or what they should do to prevent. We can offer tips as vetted by Cuyahoga County Board of Health, but we wanted to be the messenger for Moreland Hills specific issues. So what have we been doing with that? We, as you know, we have a Facebook page, which has been climbing in numbers throughout this crisis. We've also been utilizing our village website, which has never really been updated on a daily basis. So we're really aggressively making sure that we message our residents through the website, and that message is conforming to what we're also saying on social media. Additionally, Molly, we sent out an emergency newsletter to our residents who may not have access to Facebook and who may not be able to log on to the village website. And it basically gave them some resources and assured them that we're here looking out for them. And this is part of the amazing moment, I think, that if anything is coming out of this that we can call a silver lining or a positive, it's the tremendous amount of feedback we're getting from this messaging from our residents who are stepping up and saying, hey, I'm aware of Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Main Street who might need some special attention because of A, B, and C. Or, hey, I'd be willing to join your CERT team and help out with some of these items, such as special messaging and help when we can provide it. So those two lists are growing exponentially. We had a list of about 80 people that were identified as potentially needing assistance during this time. And we got those names through a number of resources.
I mean, that's what we're hearing, especially with the businesses, is it has been an opportunity to grow within their business, and they see whatever they're putting in place, they see this as being able to be kept that way. Or maybe it's the list that they've always wanted to do something, and now they've had the time to do it, and it's been a positive thing.
Right. I would say that pretty much sums it up for us too, Molly. It's been a very positive thing. You know, our CERT team members were all given a packet of the messaging that we've been standardizing through Cuyahoga County Board of Health and with our social media and website. So the messaging was actually read to them over the phone. We're not, of course, we're discouraging any face-to-face contact. This is all done over the phone with CERT members. And for those of you who don't know what CERT is, that's our Community Emergency Response Team, a bunch of volunteers in the community. We've added about 15 to 20 names over the past 10 days of people stepping up and saying, hey, I want to help too. So these CERT members are reaching out, they're delivering our message over the phone, and they're asking, what else can we do for you? And when appropriate and practical, we're helping them out. That could be something as simple as a resident saying, hey, I need somebody to drop off groceries I'm purchasing. We're going to make that happen without face-to-face contact and maintaining that social distancing. We've also had a request for somebody who lives home alone. One of our elderly residents was having trouble with her Kindle. So we're finding out ways we can't go and sit in her living room and work on her Kindle to get her reading again, but what we can do is find the resources and somebody who is IT savvy on our CERT team who can reach out over the phone and help her out. So something very little is making a difference. And during this time, I think residents want to know we're here for them to plow their roads, to police their streets, and to help them with their Kindle.
You know what? There's a quote out there that says that heroes don't always wear capes. And I love that because I think that's what we're seeing right now is some amazing heroes. But with that being said, you know, I think that there is everybody wants to help right now. And there is that fine line between helping and being, I don't want to say smart, but abiding by what we're trying to do here, which is stay at home and minimize the contact. How is Moreland Hills making sure that we're not gathering in parks or we're human and by human nature we want to be together. So even though I think we're being told to stay home, I think people are really trying to find ways around that and still abide by the order. How are you manning that?
So I think the question we're doing that we're messaging that we're anything we give our residents that is related to COVID type suggestions and recommendations and in fact orders all comes from Cuyahoga County Board of Health or Ohio Department of Health. We don't put out any memes that we find on social media. We don't use any messaging we might hear in a fringe network or fringe website. So everything we're giving our residents is vetted and solid, and our messaging is consistent in that regard. So as you know, that messaging is continuing to say, stay at home as much as practical, and even a little more than that. Mm-hmm. And it's still okay to go to a park and maintain social distancing and get out in the outdoors and keep some sanity. So when practical, you can do that. So in Moreland Hills, our parks, as you know, we're part of the South Chagrin Reservation. So we've got, a lot of acreage there and a lot of ability to, I'm a runner and I run in that park all the time. And more often than not, I complete my run through the park without seeing anybody. Now you'll notice a few more cars down there by the sled.
That's what I've been hearing. And I had to run to my office last night. I got from my house to my office, which is in Chagrin. I'm in South Russell and back to South Russell. I saw one police car and that was it. It was extremely eerie. How do you keep a calm presence to your residents to make sure that we're not getting super panicked?
I think that's a great question. And, when you talk to Cuyahoga County mayors and managers, and we're all asking what each other are doing in their communities, it's a great group for providing resources. But for here in Moreland Hills, my background in emergency services, it's what I do. So I think that's brought a certain skill set to this job right now that unfortunately, I need to use. So I have a little bit of experience in emergency planning and drafting an emergency response action plan for the city I work in as a firefighter. So I think residents, to answer your question specifically, I think residents, if they know you have a plan and you message it well, I think that goes a long way. And from that starting point where I told you we were developing that action plan, we came up with a 4-level action plan that started as simple as education and prevention for our employees at work and for our residents. And that was our messaging platform. Now that goes up to a level 4 for Moreland Hills with suspected COVID positive employees and critical services being decimated and shut down. We're not there. But where we are is our level 3 plan, where there's a mandated or ordered stay at home or quarantine. And in this case, as we know, it's a stay at home.
Right.
So that level assumed that our services would be impacted, and residents could then be impacted by our services. So all department heads were asked to come up with contingency plans for each of those levels. So we have a contingency plan in place for each of our levels as we escalate, and I think we're going to see hopefully a de-escalation, hopefully sooner than later, but we'll wait that out. And those contingency plans include things like who's going to do our garbage if our service department shuts down. And we have an agreement with another community that's kind of outside of the Sugar Valley that could come in and help us out, and vice versa, should they need our help. Policing, we always have backups for that. And our police chief made sure we have at least 2 other sources to handle our policing should a portion of our police department become ill. And likewise, all measures for other essential services like police and like fire and EMS. I think, Chief Zugan doesn't let a day go by where he's not thinking of contingency plans, and the local fire chiefs are all talking too. So all the critical services have backup plans, and all of the what we'd call essential services that residents depend on have backup plans. And right now we're implementing those. And
I have to applaud you for being ahead of it. There's something to say about getting ahead of it and getting the plan versus being in the thick of it and then having to develop a plan. And although constantly changing, rules and mandates and orders, I applaud you for getting the plan in place, no matter what wording it is, or, that can be fixed later and adjusted as these orders are coming out. But I applaud Moreland Hills for getting that plan in place so that you guys aren't pedaling backwards or quicker than you have to.
Well, thank you. I think that's really important. And as a career firefighter, we're constantly told stay ahead of the fire. So if it's a room and contents fire in a small house, we're calling mutual aid to stage in another area just in case it takes off and gets worse for us. So always being ahead of it is kind of the goal in emergency services, and having an action plan, as any fire chief, safety director, many of the mayors will tell you, having that plan in effect before you need to use it is critical. So you're kind of not flying from the hip. And to be fair, I think a lot of people in the Sugar Valley are doing that as well. And to be even more fair and more transparent, this has happened, and it's cliche to say, I know it always is, but this has only happened because of our staff here. Sherry, my administrative assistant, has just been outstanding in her messaging with the residents and helping develop these packets for our CERT team members to contact residents who might be in need. Our service director, our police chief, our building official, they're all just, had those contingency plans in place and given to me in my office. So we have, hard paper, agreements to handle these services if we get to the point where we need them. And again, I'm hopeful and cautiously optimistic that we won't need to go as far as we've planned. But if we do, we're going to be ready. So wow. I think that compliment is nice, and that compliment you gave us goes to the whole staff at this campus that I'm sitting in right now. I still get to come to work. So
yeah.
So they've been a big help. And by the way, that extends to the legislative branch too. Our council members have been stepping up and volunteering for CERT responsibilities. Hey, can we call too? I've been getting phone calls. Hey, are you thinking about this? And sometimes we are, and sometimes we're not. So council members have been instrumental in getting us on track in areas that we may not have been focusing on immediately. And so all of that collaboration has been crucial and paramount in the success of our plan.
So with all this downtime, not that you have much, but this staying at home, is there any hobbies that you have put on the back burner and now you've picked up?
I gave up sleep.
Me too. I gave up makeup, as you can see.
But in terms of hobbies, right now it's all about doing what I can for the residents, and then finding the time to jump into the quarantine melee in my house. And that's, everyone's joking around about how difficult that can be, everybody being in the same house again. but we're having some fun with it. My daughter painted her door last night with a cow theme.
Okay.
I'll put it out on Instagram. I think you'll like it.
Oh, I love that.
So my hobby right now, as bad as it is to say it's a hobby, is trying to spend as much time as practical, enjoying the kids being home because it doesn't happen that much anymore.
That's right.
Reality is we're all swamped, including yourself. You know how much time this is taking from everybody, and it's what we all signed up for. You in your capacity, and my capacity. So
We'll get through it. My hashtag, and in a day or two, you're going to start seeing yard signs go up that had printed that said, hashtag we are the Chagrin Valley, and we'll get through it. We'll get through it together.
I love that. I want to see some of those in Moreland Hills too.
I will definitely get one on the lawn of the Village Hall over there. So if you had one thing to say to your residents or anybody listening, what would you say?
I would say to be calm, be vigilant, and be calm. We're navigating a very difficult time. We have a plan in place. Our department heads and our employees are well versed in the plan. We've been going over it and over it and over it. And your critical services are running smoothly and efficiently, even during this stay-at-home time. And your essential services are also still being maintained. And we're going to do everything we can in our ability to make that continue. And that we're also going to be here for those residents we continually define as those who may need more assistance during this time, and reach out and provide whatever we can for them. So we're here for you. And as always, if anyone has any questions or concerns, you contact us through our website, through Facebook. We'll get back with you with a phone call.
I'll put the website right down there so people can see it when they watch this. So, well, please, you stay safe and wash those hands. And we will soon be together again. That's for sure.
I'm looking forward to seeing you out and about.
Amen. I won't be running with you, but but you'll see me out there. Thank you. Have a great day, please.
You as well.
Be safe.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.